Good morning, everyone. This is Royce Miller coming back at you with not quite a let's try, well, kind of a let's try, but also just a good thing to do. So, as you all know, I got my wisdom teeth out last week, and since then I've been having to discover what kind of pre-made soups are out in the world. Now, having had my wisdom teeth out last year as well, I'm well acquainted with some of the stuff from Members Mark and Campbell's. So, like, the beer cheese soup, lobster bisque, and, like the chicken sausage gumbo that Campbell's has. But for this, I actually decided to go for Walmart, see what they had. They actually do have some very interesting soup selections from their market side area. Here we have their shrimp and corn chowder. Now, I assume it's going to be similar to their lobster bisque, which I have had. Yes and no. It does have a very similar flavor profile to their lobster bisque, but it's also very chowder esque. Which I mean, obviously. So chowder is like a very thick milk stew with potatoes and stuff in it. Phenomenal. There's a little shrimpy. You wouldn't expect Walmart to have good seafood in their little deli area, but well, there you go. Of course, um, seafood is actually often paired with sweet potato, if you can believe it. And I happen to have here a plate of sweet potato fries. In fact, this is actually technically keeping it on brand too, because these are Walmart brand sweet potato fries. And they do actually pair very well together. Um, Now potatoes and fish have always been excellent. Have always been like kind of food mates, if you will. Um, mm, Here, let's just put some at the top here. There we go. So obviously, yeah, fish and chips, but marvelous. And clam chowder, which usually has potatoes in it. But even besides that, one of the family recipes that used to be a Christmas staple of our household was every Christmas my grandma would make oyster stew with fried potatoes. And the fried potatoes were these little medallion-sized coins of tater. You'd put a couple in the bottom of your bowl, and you'd ladle on your oyster stew over it. And it was phenomenal. Unfortunately, when my littlest cousin was born, we discovered pretty quickly that he was deathly allergic to seafood. So, we sadly had to shelve that Christmas tradition, but that's okay. You know. Oyster stew is delicious, but having it in a live cousin is much preferable. Um, and you're probably wondering, like, well, you're probably saying, like, Royce, your sweet potato fries are so limp, and that is an unfortunate byproduct of Walmart store brand sweet potato fries. For some reason, they're always going to be limp. Like, look, these even have little burnt edges to them. and yet they're still somehow soggy. Marvelous stuff. Sadly, those of my cousins that can't eat fish don't even like it. The cousin I live with has forbidden me from from baking any fish in the oven. Oh, I don't think he knows what he hates because he really reinforced this after I baked a white lasagna. Because Stouffer's makes a fantastic chicken pasta bake, but they call it a white lasagna. Like, it is not a white lasagna. It is a tuna noodle casserole with chicken instead of tuna. Tastes great though. Like the breadcrumbs on top, they get really toasty. The like little bits of spinach and tomato in it. It's so good. This is also so good. It's all toasty and roasty and so good. I may just keep eating this and leave you guys eyes on with me just quiet for the next couple minutes. Like, I mean, I know sweet potato is supposed to pair well with fish. I first started on binging with Babish when he made the Chilean sea bass from Jurassic Park that sweet potato is typically paired with a whitefish. But this is just amazing. And just soak up the milk, the milky soup. I would try explaining chowder to someone who has never had it before. And they'd probably think it's disgusting. Like, it's a really thick stew made with cream. And it's usually made with seafood. I guess it is kind of the poor man's version of a bisque. Or, well, the layman's version of a bisque. Well, it's funny because, Members Mark switched from their, God, what am I trying to say? They switched from their old lobster bisque recipe to a fish and lobster bisque. Or it might have been fish and lobster chowder, I forget. Which fish chowder does sound a little weird. Like, chowder with shellfish makes sense, you know. Shellfish adds a nice, like, chewy pop to compare to the mushy textures of the soup itself and also the potatoes. But getting normal bonefish like tilapia or cod or what have you, in a fish chowder, or in a chowder, is just sounds vile. That was magnificent. That might be one of the best things I've had in this show. And like, it's such a simple dish, and not that expensive. Because like, it was like $4 for the bag of frozen fries, then $3 or $4 for the chowder. That's $8 for a very filling, hearty meal. Granted, it is probably pricier than if you made it yourself, but that's just the kind of channel I run. I don't tell you how to make the food. I tell you how to make a good meal with what you got. You know, or with stuff that you have access to. Food hacks, if you will. God, I hope I don't become a food hack channel. Fate worse than death, that. Anyway, I think that'll be it for me today. Y'all have a good one. This is Royce Miller. I'm outie.